Do unto others what they did to you is what you say. Give me more friends that envy me is what you pray. Any man that wear a fancy collar is whom you lay, and any man that pay your bills is where you stay. The world is yours to take it what your mother expressed. Your father told you never settle for anything but your best. Your associates inform you that your body is all you have, and your friends told you if the relationship is not working, at least you got half. Your boyfriend whispered in your eyes, if you love me, be mine tonight. Later that night he said, you gonna make it hard if you put up a fight. You thought it was love. It was merely lust. Only thing you could think about was the betrayal. Thrust after thrust. You wanted to speak up, but his weight kept you down. You wanted to scream, but you was afraid of getting slapped around. All you had the strength to do was look in his eyes and whisper, stop. Thinking he would see your pain and get from on top, but instead of stopping, it intensified. And all you was thinking was, Lord, keep me alive. Then all of a sudden, like on cue, he quit. And he was afraid to open your eyes. Afraid this was it. You open your eyes, afraid to see his eyes staring back at you as your brain is racing. What did I say? What did I do? Well, I do please him, satisfy and tease him. But that doesn't give him a reason to force his way in me. I wonder if he'll forgive me for not being who he wanted me to be. But I didn't say no. I didn't shout no. I didn't scream no. I didn't roar no. It's all my fault. First of all, let me say this. Where y'all been at, man? Where y'all been at, man? Okay, I've been waiting here, you know what I'm saying, for months, waiting on y'all to press subscribe, press the bell, so we can have this conversation. Once again, my name is Incomplete the Poet. I'm going to teach you right now how to dig in the deepest corner of your soul and get out all those thoughts, all those ideas, all those hurt feelings that you just swept away and laid there in the corner of your heart. We're going to go ahead and retrieve those things. Now, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be very emotional. It's going to be very tiresome. But at the same time, it's going to benefit you and it's going to benefit whoever you share that poem with or that experience with. The poem To a Mirror. If you know, in police scenes or even at the police department, they have a mirror where on one side you see the reflection, but on the other side they can see through the mirror. So it's a two-way mirror. And basically what the idea came from is that as the woman, she's looking at herself through the man's eyes. But the man already knows what's going on. He already knows his intentions. You know what I'm saying? He already knows what he's going to plan to do. So the two-way mirror is that she's looking into the man's eyes. The man is looking at her from his perspective, and he can see her from her perspective as well, her vulnerability, her hurt, and things such as that. So how do you retrieve that information? Now, maybe this stuff have not happened to you. I have never date raped anyone. You know, back in 2000, there was this crave on date rape drugs called the sex drugs, which one of them I know off the top of my head is roofies. You know, you always hear the word roofie, don't get roofied. You know, so what I decided to do was I decided to have a poem where I could start a dialogue, where I could start a conversation. And I wrote this poem while in college. Once again, check out the other video, and you can definitely see the the whole story of how the name Incomplete came about. You know, but I was in college at the time. Now, mind you, I went to a very modest Christian college. We didn't have nothing like that going on in our campus. The most exciting thing that we would have on our campus is probably one of the ducks chasing us. You know what I'm saying? They're like the most excitement we would have all week, you know. But at the same time, just looking at other colleges, some big name universities where partying is like their alma mater. Partying is like their motto, and looking at some of the things that was going on at that time, the 2020 special, the Dateline specials on roofies and on sex and on date rape and things such as that, So by me writing that particular poem, it allowed us to have a dialogue, even if it was just for the length of that particular poem. So how do you retrieve the information? How do you gather the information? How do you really dig deep within yourself? Let's say that you don't want to do the research. Let's say that you don't want to read this and read that and watch this video and watch that video, but you just want to go from your own experiences. So sometimes you have to really ask yourself, what have I been through? What have I gone through? What have I gone through that can really help someone else, benefit somebody else, and also give me healing at the same time? I have a poem called The Art of Forgiveness. And in the midst of writing this poem was just meant for me. I wanted to know, Lord, how can I mend the wounds in me? How can I mend the wounds in me? And lo and behold, God blessed me with this poem that I share with you before this video ends on that very topic, on how do I mend those wounds. But in order for me to mend those wounds, I have to first acknowledge that those wounds existed. I have to first acknowledge some type of ordeal that really kind of put me on whoa. I had a situation where, I was not in my right frame of mind or whatever the case may be. And sometimes you have to dig deep for that, because sometimes we suppress those thoughts, those actions, those things that we have been gone through or went through. Sometimes we suppress it. And that's not always good for us, because we think we got over it when really it's hiding behind these different other events in our lives in the deepest corner of your heart. So we really have to pull those things out and really tackle them. Now, the first way that you can really do it, the first way I do it, is I really do a self-inventory. Like, what do I need to make whole in me? What am I dealing with? What type of trauma have I been through? What is something that I may want to get mended, made whole, feel complete? My suggestion, what I always tell people as a spoken word artist myself, if you don't capture their attention within the first 2-3 lines, then you really lost them for your whole duration of your poem. So my motto is, I slap you in the face with the first couple of lines. I just slap you in the face. I want to get your attention from the first time my mouth open. I want to have your attention. Okay? And with one of these poems, you can really do that when you really not only just look at yourself from the surface, but really in depth. Really ask yourself, okay, what did I experience? How can I go about doing these things? And then once you realize where you are in that spectrum, then you can start isolating, okay, how can I convey it? What message am I going to send? Am I going to do the poem from first person? Or am I going to present the poem from third person? Like, how am I going to present this poem to the world? Okay? Now, I love to do the poem in first person. Even though most of the things that I write about may not have happened to me, writing it in first person make it seem more personal. Like, wow, he been through a lot. Well, I research a lot. I have a poem called Birth of a Bastard, right? And it's about how fathers neglect the love and attention that their sons need. So I was asking myself, how can I get my listeners' attention within the first 2 lines? How can I get their attention in the first line? So the first line starts off, my father treated me like a wet food stamp. Glad to have it, but never wanted to be seen with it. Mr. EBT left my soul dented. From those 3 lines alone, I got your attention. He's like, what is he talking? He's talking about wet food stamps? He's talking about EBTs? He's like, oh. From that point, I got your attention. So the first couple of lines, you have to get their attention. If you do not get their attention in the first couple of lines, guess what? You have lost them for the whole duration of your poem, no matter how long or short your poem may be. And you want to have their attention. Not only do you want to have their attention, you want them to be sitting on the edge of their seat, anticipating every syllable that comes out your mouth. That's how engaged you want them. And the best way to do that is really coming up with a topic, coming up with a theme, coming up with a presentation on how you're going to present it. And then once you present it, man, it's awesome. And that's what I mean about the presentation. Like, how are you going to present it to the world, you know? So therapeutic poetry, you're writing from the heart, you're digging deep down within yourself, or you may have a topic that's been on your heart for a while that you may want to share, that you think deserve a conversation. And that's what you have to do. You really have to sit down and really try to contemplate on how, what, when, why you want to do those things. And that way, once you start writing, once you go through the process of getting all your thoughts together, and once you get in front of your computer or that pen and pad or your phone, and once you start writing, it's just going to flow. It's going to flow as if you knew all along what you were going to say. Now, if you just going to the computer and you don't know where you're going to start, but you want to write something, that's like sometimes those are the hardest poems to write because you really don't have no whole outline. You know, because the poem could go every which way. I know I have sat down at the computer, just wanted to write something and not knowing exactly what I wanted to write. And I wrote probably about 5 lines. And it wasn't 5 lines to one poem, but what I ended up doing, the lines were so great, I thought, that each line became its own poem. So if you don't have an objective when you sit down, the poem will go just about anywhere. But you want to really dig within your heart. You want to ask yourself, like, what do you want to talk about? How do you want to present it? And once you do come up with those outlines, once you do come up with that blueprint, sit at the front of your computer, your tablet, your phone, and really ask yourself, how can I present this to the world? Told you I was going to give you The Art of Forgiveness, which is a beautiful poem. I wrote the poem for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can I better myself? How can I move on beyond the hurt that I was experiencing at that particular time? And this is the poem that came to me, Art of Forgiveness. Forgive us for our debts, as we forgive our debtors. It's a prayer prayed in vain, because oftentimes we hibernate in the pain, the scars that has penetrated our souls, only to realize that that pain is a revolving door. Oftentimes we're delusional, believing everything will be fine. Yes, the heal of our wounds is time. But what happens when that time is extended? Ignorance becomes our savior as we plead to God for favor. And that same favor is locked in a cocoon of animosity. And only you have that key to open the door to heaven's storehouse. So whatever your father did to you, forgive him. Whatever your mother said to you, forgive her. Your uncle, brother, sister, cousin, friend or foe, forgive them and let it go. And let God do what he promised you. Because vengeance is the Lord's. So you're wondering why you're on your 3rd marriage. You're wondering why you may have had a miscarriage. You're wondering why your life is so empty, filled with borrowed smiles and scattered happiness. Emotional setbacks eventually lead to physical ailments. Love can't replace it. A smile only dilutes its sex, only disguises it. Only forgiveness can fix it. And whether you are the forgiven or the forgivee, no matter how hard it may be, people may praise you and crucify you all in the same breath. But just like Christ on the cross, he forgave them for their ignorance. But before your forgiveness lies stealth, you first have to know how to forgive yourself. And once forgiveness is rendered, whether you forgive them or they forgive you, once forgiveness is rendered, just like that, it's over. Never to be pondered, nor dangled, nor uttered. Let the scars be a reminder of what once was. And that is the art of forgiveness. I'm Incomplete the Poet. Please subscribe, ring my bell, and I'll see you next time. We live in a society where everyone is expected to be okay, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, even when we aren't.
It's not until America is hit with the greatest catastrophic event in history do we even think about someone's mental state. And that's the problem. It used to be a day when it took a village along with your brother's keeper because united we stood. Well, the village has been evicted, your brother's keeper murdered, and that band is staying united discontinued. It feels as if the entire world is suffering from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. We have seen too much, stood by for too long, all while being told it'll be okay. It's not okay. We are not okay. Hi, I'm Incomplete the Poet. I wrote a new book titled Saying the New Crazy, a collection of poetry dedicated to the awareness of mental health. I really wanted this book to be free, but because I'm a struggling, independent, self-publishing poet, it isn't. My apologies. It has always been my desire to give back to my community by using my gift of poetry. By placing this book into the hands of millions, all the donations and proceeds will go to aid the awareness of mental health. Will you help me in my endeavors by purchasing a book from Lulu.com for the price of $20? Your $20 purchase will put 10 books in the hands of 10 individuals who really need to read it, so they can know that they are not alone. No one needs to suffer from mental illness in silence, nor alone. Let's let them know that they have a friend in us.